Hey nerds, Todd Simmons coming back at you with a little more Toddomation. All right, lab or video number 6 to set up your own lab. This is the final one. Right after this, you'll be labbing away if you're not already. This is just how to access your devices. Right? So this is the icing on top of the cake. You've got everything done. It's working. Our lab has started. We're looking over here at our VS Code, and we can see all of our devices are up and operational. So, how do we get to them? Well, that's the easy part. So, notice that the name, it has a full name here, CLab-ContainerLab-DC1 Borderleaf 1. Well, where did it get the CLab-ContainerLab? Well, it actually got it from the original name, ContainerLab. So it's CLab, and then it's that name. And it creates a hostname file on that device. And if you're not familiar with what a hostname file is, it's just kind of like a local DNS record without actually going through a fully qualified domain name. So if we wanted to get to one of the devices, once that they're all up and operational, now all we have to do is do SSH and then paste that name in there and hit enter. And notice it says warning permanently added, and you're in it. That's literally it. There's our entire running configuration for our device. It's going to default to the admin password when you SSH to it, and you're in. Now, this might not be the best way to get to all the devices. If you don't have an SSH client and this is how you're going to do things, no big deal. Okay, just copy this name, right? So let's actually, we're not going to go to a borderline. Let's go to a spine next. So we're going to copy this name, okay? And if you follow the GitHub Codespaces one, we can create multiple terminals. So we can actually hit the down arrow over here, and we can say new terminal, and we could just do SSH, and we could paste that in this one, and now we're in spine 1, okay? We do a show LLDP neighbor, and look, here are our LLDP neighbors. I'm going to show you here in a minute how to get rid of all of this. ContainerLab by default does show LLDP on the management interface. I'm going to show you how to turn that off. But if this is the terminal that you're going to use, right, you can go back and forth and come here and we can get the other spine. And it's just the SSH command. And then you specify that host name, down arrow, new terminal. I'd recommend at least a new terminal between the different devices. We can SSH. Okay, spine 2, show you, look, your connections are up. This, remember, we specified this in the links file of the topology the topology YAML that we had. So there's all the devices. We're connected to those devices. Now you can configure them and start labbing it up. This is one way to get to the devices. And like I said, if you're not familiar with SSH clients, I would certainly recommend one. Pretty much any SSH client's going to work for you in this particular case. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my SecureCRT. So here's my SecureCRT. I've already built these out based on the ContainerLab, but I'm going to show them to you real fast. So if I look at Borderleaf 1 and I go into the properties of Borderleaf 1, I can see that it's called Borderleaf 1. It's using the SSH protocol. If I click on the SSH tab, notice hostname. Remember I said we're going to use the localhost. This device is running on a VM on our device. So we're using the hostname of 127.0.0.1 or what we would call localhost. Notice though the port 2051. When we set these up in our topology file, looking at Borderleaf 1, there's that 2051 right there. Okay, if I go and I look at Leaf 1, doing the same thing, I cancel this out, okay, because I didn't make any changes. I go to Leaf 1, I go to the properties, look, 2021. So I come over here, I come down to Leaf 1, look, 2021. The switch is listening on port 22. So what's happening is the device, right, we're port forwarding anything we hear on 2021 to this IP, which happens to be DC1 Leaf 1, but we're forwarding it to this IP, coming back on this device. It ends up at 22, therefore allowing us to connect to the device. So I have all of those set up. You would just need to do the same thing for each one of your devices. Set them up in this exact same manner, no different whatsoever. Notice I do have the username of admin set. I do not have a password set on any of these, but it should still let me in directly. So what I'm going to do is let's just connect to Spine 1 real fast. So Spine 1, because it's a new connection, it's going to come up and say, hey, we haven't seen this device before. Yeah, we're going to do the accept and save. And just like when I did it inside the VS Code, I've got direct connectivity to that device. So I'm actually going to go ahead and connect to them all because I do want to show you one more thing. I want to show you how to get rid of the LLDP on the MA0, the Management Zero interface. You cannot put this in the init configs. It will not work. I've tried several times. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this spine. Okay, and I'm going to tell my SecureCRT to connect in tabs for all of those. And I'm going to have to accept and save because they're all new. These are new switches according to SecureCRT. So now I have all my devices up. Let me just make this nice and wide. And as you can see, here they all are. I'm going to put them in the order I like to have them in. So I'm going to go border leaf, and then I'm going to go spine, and then I'm going to go, the hosts are going to come after the leafs. And this is just me. This is how I like to see everything. So I have border leaf 1, spine 2, leaf 1, leaf 2, leaf 3, leaf 4, host 1, host 2, host 3. Now, what I'm going to do is this window down here is a wonderful window, right? It says this is a call of our command window. I'm going to right click on that and say send commands to all sessions. This will allow me to type into the terminal for every single one of those switches at the same time. So let's just do this. As you can see, I hit the enter key. Notice they all got the enter. Right, so I'm going to come into border leaf 1 and I'm going to do a show LLDP neighbor, and I can see all of my devices. Okay. I don't want to see anything that's on management 0 because technically if it's on management 0, it's really not directly connected. It's just reading LLDP on the management. How do I fix this? I go into config. Now be careful because we're sending config statements to all the devices at this point. I'm going to go int MA0 because I'm using management interface 0 as the management inside the management perf. And then I'm going to say no LLDP transmit. And then I'm going to say no LLDP receive. Okay. At this point, I'm going to wait about 60 seconds or so. And when I come back from here, actually, let's just do an end. Let's get all the way out. Let's save that configuration. Okay. And I can verify that it did run on every single one of my devices just by going through. This also lets me verify that there weren't any errors whatsoever when I typed that, because if you type the command wrong, even on the command window, it's going to come back and show you an error. So now I want to come back and do show LLDP neighbor again. Okay. Now we can see I still have the management 0. Turning that off is not immediate. Why? Well, there's a timer associated with LLDP. So I'm not going to adjust the timers at this particular point, but when the timer runs out for that entry, it'll re-LLDP. Now this time, because we've turned it off on management, it's not going to show all of those devices. And then it will just show the directly connected devices that we have specified inside of our topology file. And it's getting closer. Look, I'm not showing as many devices as I was before. And there it goes. It's getting less and less and less. The other devices are starting to not show. And by the time that we're done, they'll just be the Ethernet 7s on spine 1 and spine 2. Let's go check another device. Let's go check leaf 3. All right, what's leaf 3 getting here? All right, so leaf 3 is only showing host 1, spine 2, spine 1. Notice at the very beginning, it showed every single device because it's looking at that entire subnet. So by default, it's going to come up and show all 10 devices. All right, border leaf 1 is done. It's now only showing the connected devices. LLDP is on by default on all Arista switches. So now we can see, okay, border leaf 1 is only connected to spine 1, spine 2, which is correct. So we go to spine 1, we can see spine 1 is connected to leaf 1, leaf 2, leaf 3, leaf 4, border leaf 1 Spine 2, same thing. So it took 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds for all that to time out. But now we're only showing the directly connected devices. And these are the devices that we specified inside our topology file to show the connections. And it's showing the connections on the interfaces that we provided in our topology document. So happy labbing, nerds. I hope that everything's working for you. Once again, if it's not, right, let me know. I'll help you out. I'll make sure that we can get this working for you. If you're having memory issues again, right, you would show these disconnections. It would disconnect here. It would show disconnections here if you're having memory issues. Obviously, I'm not having any memory issues. But if you are having those memory issues, that just means that we need to reduce the number of devices. But once everything starts up, we should be good to go. So if you have any issues, let me know. If you enjoyed this 6-video series on how to lab on your own device, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. Until next time, talk to you later, nerds. Bye.